Good afternoon and welcome to the first edition of the NonProfit World TV show in Nigeria. My name is Peace Nwachukwu. I'm your host for today. Our first guest in today's show is Ambassador Willie Workman Oga, who is a humanitarian and climate change activist. Willie, what a fascinating life you've led so far. Can you tell us about your life itinerary?
Well, I'm glad to be on your show, today, which is a laudable initiative. I'm actually, like you rightly said, I'm a humanitarian and climate change activist. I run an NGO called Advocacy for Widows Empowerment Foundation, which I started in 2012. And since then, I've actually been running that foundation which main focus actually is for widows and their children. We advocate for widows' rights, and right to custody of their children.
Okay.
Yes, and sometimes we also engage in skills acquisition, training, and empowerment. Then I do music on the side, and I'm also a filmmaker. So for me, this has been my everyday life over the years.
Your recent song gained an international, which was recently nominated. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
So recently you empowered widows by paying jam fees and school fees for their children. What inspired you to advocate for widows despite being a man?
Yeah, for me, it's actually a calling because my mom became a widow about 12 years ago when my father died. But before my father died, we had widows in my village and some in Lagos that I actually support. I help them financially and some in terms of their well-being medically. I organize some medical outreach with some of my friends, to do that for them. And the charity work, actually, the humanitarian work, I actually fell in love with it. I was much more younger. The way people come to our house, their various problems and stuff, they end up living with a smiling face.
Oh.
And I go back to my mom. That person that came, she came crying. She came with swollen eyes and all that. Or that woman that came with her children, she came here crying, wailing, rolling on the ground. But after you counsel them and you were able to put smiles on their faces. So she told me how she counsels them, gives them advice, then helps those she can help financially, and with some food items because she's a businesswoman.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she's into commodities and stuff. So actually, from there I developed that likeness, to help humanity. So for me, I actually picked it up from my mom, and since then, on my own small level, I started, helping widows, then helping people living with disability. I been in the showbiz industry.
Okay.
Once in a while, I go to various homes. I organize birthday parties for those that have that are marking their birthdays.
Okay.
Then I solicit for funds and materials, toiletries and and clothes that and storybooks that I garner to take to them. So for me, charity is my calling, and I've been involved in taking care of widows and their children, yes, over the years. Apart from empowering their mothers who are widows, we also empower their children. We solicit for support. We have a program we call, Sponsor a Widow's Child for her educational future.
Okay.
So what we do is, we solicit for scholarship and support so that we can put their children in school. And we've been able to get some level of support from some partners, including anonymous donors. Like now, we have some of their children in the university, some are in the secondary school, then the primary school. So we just finish paying fees in the various cadre of education, from the university, secondary school to primary school, for some of their children.
Okay, so how do you recruit them? Do you recruit them based on their level of education, the level of income, or the number of children they have? How do you recruit these widows?
The thing is, we really don't have a specific criteria, educational-wise.
Okay.
Once you're a widow, you're a widow. But the thing is, you must have been legally married to your late spouse.
Oh.
Yeah, so, and we have our requirements, which I'm sure we'll discuss in due course. So we really don't discriminate. You could be a Christian, you could be a Muslim, you could be a non-believer, you could be an illiterate. We have a lot of them that didn't even go to school that are members. And we have some that are graduates, that have masters, yeah, degrees.
Just like you said, they must be legally married. So
Exactly.
Do you have a monitoring or evaluating system to regulate all this, maybe to find out if actually they were married, or do you have to see their certificates, or how do you get your facts that they really, really need this service?
Yes, you see, like I said, first thing first, they have to be legally married.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is, because we also partner with the Lagos state government,
Okay.
yes, and the federal government. For you to become a member of Advocacy for Widows Empowerment Foundation as a widow, one, you must have the death certificate of your husband.
Oh, wow.
You must have his obituary.
Okay.
Thirdly, there are photos, pictures, and videos you must have had when either you were doing your court or church wedding or customary marriage.
Yes.
And you must have your family portraits to some extent with your wife and children when their late spouse was alive. And so some of these requirements, we are part of what they tender, and of course we have our monitoring and evaluation staff that does that.
Okay.
Yes, so we do due diligence by taking time to investigate those documents that have been presented.
Okay, so what has been the outcome so far? Does it align with your objectives for the organization?
Yeah. You see, my dream actually, and I'm still praying, someday is to have a warehouse, a section for skills acquisition training. We'll have a library. We'll have a counseling room department. Then, of course, the administrative department. Our objectives sort of have not been met because we don't have enough funds to meet a larger part of the demands of our members, because we have over 3,000 members across 5 states in Nigeria.
Wow.
Where we operate. And due to the lack of funds, we don't have enough. The little we have is what we use in helping one or two or solving one or two problems of our members. So funding has actually been a problem, but the little that we've been able to assist, the ROI, on them, has actually been encouraging. And, it inspires us to do more and to keep looking out for new partners to assist us to come on board so that, we can solve the issue. Because if they are empowered as widows, of course, their problems will be reduced in the society. Talking about food security, their well-being, some don't even have money to pay rent because someone has about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 children, can't afford to even send them to school, to talk of paying rents to house those kids. So some are on the street, some are living in completed building. The problems are enormous.
Okay.
Some needs to be trained, to be empowered. Some of the training costs, these skills, some are quite expensive. So, there is a little that we can take.
Do some of them remarry? What happens to their children and their jobs? How long do they still remain beneficiaries?
Well, for as long as they are not married, they remain our members. As we continue to get help and assistance from well-meaning individuals, and we also partner with the Lagos State government,
Okay.
As well, like I said earlier. Like during the COVID-19 period, they assisted with some food items, to augment, the issue of food scarcity and all that. Well, for those who feel they want to remarry, they are free to do that.
Oh.
It's just that they give up their membership of the foundation once they get married. So we give them our blessing. If you feel you still want to remarry, it's fine.
Oh.
The important thing is to have joy, to have some level of security, and because there are some good men out there who want to marry widows and help them out, take care of them and their children, So we are not, we don't oppose that at all.
Have you experienced any challenge accepting inflows from international bodies?
Although we've not been opportune to some extent, even though we've pitched for some funding opportunities which we didn't get, and we're still hoping that we'll still get new partners to come on board to join us in what we're doing. There's this issue of karma in Nigeria now. I'm sure you must have heard.
Yes.
Yes, where they want to regulate, and
NGOs.
Yes, NGOs. Maybe make it a little bit difficult, for some NGOs to even get foreign fundings, because it's been said that in the past, and maybe presently, the government is trying to regulate. I'm not saying don't regulate, but I'm saying get stakeholders and let's have a roundtable. Like for my foundation, we belong to the Nigerian network of NGOs, which is like an umbrella body for NGOs in Nigeria. And they've been having a parley with the government on this, because the Senate have been working on enacting a law to streamline and for a lot of us, we are saying some of these laws is going to make our operation difficult.
Of course.
Because we're helping the government to even do their job. Because this is more of CSR that we are doing. Government is supposed to be taking care of these people at the grassroots. And they can reach some of these people. But we are voluntarily doing what they are supposed to do. So we should be encouraged, not with laws that will squeeze or make it difficult for us to get inflows from partners, other organizations who means well means well in what we're doing.
Okay.
So I think that issue of karma should be looked into, and I'm also one of those who signed the petition that it should be looked into, the NGO world in Nigeria.
I'm quite sure it's not all the widows in Nigeria you've reached out to. So how can other widows learn about your organization?
Yeah, actually, we are online.
Okay.
We have a website, advocacyforwidows.org.ng.
Oh.
Yes, so they can go to our website. Like I said, we're in about 5 states in Nigeria. And activities, apart from widows advocacy, we have farming projects. We've also partnered with the World Bank at some point. Fadama Tree Project.
Okay.
They did in Nigeria, where they built greenhouse agricultural farm for members in Jos in Plateau State. So they can just go to our website. We're also on Facebook.
Okay.
Yes, our registration form for membership is there. They are free to fill the form and attach all the requirements that I mentioned earlier: death certificate, obituary, family portraits. They had then videos or photographs of their wedding or church marriage or traditional marriage.
We all know that everything has gone digital now, and most organizations operate using the internet. So what if they are technologically challenged and maybe illiterate, maybe they don't even know an organization like this exists? How do you find them? I mean, those people in rural areas that actually need this help, how do you find them?
Yes, incidentally, 70% of our job is rural, while 30% is urban. Now, thank God for the internet. Most rural areas in Nigeria are somehow connected. You can access the internet with your phone. So what we do is we liaise with churches. Yes, in some of these rural areas. And we also have volunteers in some of these areas who volunteer to be part of what we do. So through them, they are able to identify some of the widows in some of these villages and the various communities where we work. And our membership drive still continues because we want to get to as much widows that we can and help out to them. Our services to them, it depends on what we get financially. And sometimes it could be from my personal funds as well.
And even I myself, I keep asking, where do NGOs get their money? How do they get so much money to help people? How? I really want to know how. So how do you get your funding to help these people? How do you get it?
Well, when I started, I've been writing a lot of letters, soliciting for funds. Sometimes you're lucky, Sometimes you get anonymous donors, who don't want their name to be mentioned. Then we partnered with some oil companies in the past as well. Yes, like Seplat Petroleum. Oh, sorry to say that it's commercial. We partnered with some other firms who have at some point engaged us in, say, about a year or 2 or 3 in doing their CSR. Then on the other hand, we also talk to individuals, but it's rare. Sometimes people don't even really believe you. Yes, and I also am into events. Then I'm an artist. Like I said, I'm a filmmaker as well, and also a musician. So some of the little funds I get from doing events and from the music, I put it back into the foundation. Actually, I told God that He should give me the creative ability to do some of the things I do, so that the earnings I get from there, put it back, a large chunk of it back into the foundation. And that's what I've been doing over the years, really. So most time, some of the little funds I get, I put it back, into the foundation. And that's how we've been going. A little bit of support we get too from some individuals.
I understand that running an organization like this is not really easy. It's not easy. So tell us, what has been the challenge and, of course, your greatest joy so far?
That God bless you. You made my day. I never knew, I could get help. I never knew things would get better for me. I never knew. So for me, I think, for me, that's fulfilling. Because I must confess, I cannot sleep, I cannot eat, I cannot walk without thinking about widows and their children. And when God calls you, it doesn't make you sleep.
Yes.
You become restless until, well, let's not go to biblical. If not, I would have said in the Bible, when He sent Jonah, He refused to go. And you see what happened to Jonah.
Yes.
So the thing is, once you have that calling, it builds up. That passion is there. If you listen to my music, I sing about widows. I dedicated a track, the soundtrack of the movie. I did a movie called The Widow's Son.
Wow.
Yes, and That movie has won about 3 global international awards. The soundtrack I did some couple of years ago, dedicated to widows all over the world, and it's titled "Hear My Cry." It talks about the pains of a widow, the expectation of widowhood, what they go through, and crying to God to send helpers and all that. So giving them hope to carry on in life. Even the movie I shot, the one that played Ada, the lead role, is even a widow and a member of our foundation.
Wow.
And most of the women and the youths you see in the video, they're also widows, and some of them are their children.
Okay.
And don't forget, I'm also a widow's son. My mom is a widow.
So what has been the challenge? What's your challenge?
Yeah, challenge actually, it's finance, funding.
Oh.
Yeah, it's funding, because you need money to make their dreams come true. You need money to alleviate their sufferings. You need money to empower them. You need money to pay instructors, facilitators, to train them on some specific skills, self-sustainability, so that they can stand on their own and become voices in the society and contribute their own quota in terms of paying tax and all that, to the government. So one major problem that we have as NGOs, it's the issue of funding. Because if we have enough money, like for us, renting an office space is huge. Annually, you pay rents for office, you send them on skills acquisition training, even though we network.
Okay.
Yes, with some NGOs and Lagos State government sometimes on skills acquisition. They train some of our members, but it's not enough. When they'll tell you, just bring 5 members from your NGO, they call another NGO, bring 5 members. If you have 1,000 NGOs, 5, that's quite much. But if you as the NGO can train about 50 to 100 members, they will make some level of impact in their lives. So, over the years, we've just been doing it gradually because we didn't have the funding, and we need continuous funding, continuous support, to carry out a lot of projects. Like I said, we're into farming. We fund a cooperative, for some of our widows, as farmers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in Benue, in Jos and Kaduna. So, buying fertilizer, seedlings, and it's quite expensive. Even clearing the land, it's quite expensive. And sometimes we hire, we pay for, we lease some of this land. So, all these things are capital intensive. And one widow's problem is different from another widow. So, some have 2 kids, some have 6, 7 kids. Some have never done skills acquisition training in their life. Some don't even know what to do after the demise of their husband. So they are confused. They don't know how to sustain their living. So in an interactive and counseling session, we try to identify where their strength is. And for those that have been doing petty business before their spouse died, we still give them some funds to elevate their business, or introduce them to another kind of skills acquisition that would increase their sustainability level.
Okay. So are you open for partnerships?
Very open, very open. We are open to, why not? We are.
All right.
We are. Both in Nigeria and any part of the world. Yeah. As long as our objective and focus is to put, smiles on their faces and make life a little bit better for them.
Okay, thank you very much, Ambassador Willie. Tell us more about the awards you've won recently with the movie, The Widow's Son, as well as the climate change musical video, which was recently nominated.
The Widow's Son, have actually won about 3 international awards at the famous Film Freeway International, Film Festival. That is held in, across the world. Yeah, it's a global body for filmmakers. So the first award came from Philadelphia in the United States of America last year. Then also in Nigeria, at the Nigerian Universal Movie Awards, the Widow Song won an award again. That was held last year as well. Okay. And we're still expecting more nominations because I also put it in other festivals that are coming up this year. For Mother Nature, which is a music video I did about climate change. The video has just been recently nominated, like you rightly said, at the International Music Video Awards coming up in the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sometime in June this year. So we're looking forward to win, hopefully, at the awards, because the message in that song, it's really powerful. It's about climate change. And you won't believe it that some schools even call that they want to start using it as one of their teaching tools, about climate change, because the music has a lot of descriptive, scenes about the dangers of climate change, the effect of climate change, and what we're experiencing now. And also, I also appeal to world leaders, to give concession to all the climate change agreements, that have been going on.
Okay.
If we don't do that, if we don't come together to save Mother Earth, we won't have any planet for our future generations to come and inherit. So basically, I think the video, and we're getting good viewership. Yes, on YouTube. If you Google Mother Nature by Willie Workman featuring El Presido, you get to watch the video.
Thank you very much for being on our program today.
But
before we go, can we listen to one of your widow's song, which is Hear My Cry?
Okay, the song I dedicated to in my album.
Yes.
Okay, I forgot to mention to you. The song is in my album titled Virtuous Woman. Like I said, most things I do is about promoting womanhood. And maybe because I have 6 sisters and we're just 3 guys. So I think that also informs part of why I'm a little bit of women's rights and, elevating women, which I try to demonstrate in everything I do. So, okay, that'll be fine.
Thank you very much for being in our program today. Well, before we go, let's listen to Hear My Cry from your album, Virtuous Woman.
Thank you once more for having me on the program.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and I hope you like the song. And our viewers out there. Dangerous, so dangerous. Yeah, bigger challenge. You're not lonely. You're not alone. No more bitterness. No more bitterness. Don't cry, don't cry, cry. John. Oh no, no. Don't worry, you're not alone. Oh no. Always here by your side. Everything will be alright. You're not that thing. Don't cry.
Help is on the way.